चैप्टर 1 एसएम इंट्रोडक्शन टू स्ट्रैटेजिक मैनेजमेंट। तो स्ट्रैटेजिक मैनेजमेंट के कॉन्सेप्ट को समझने के लिए पहले हमको मैनेजमेंट समझना ज़रूरी है। और मैनेजमेंट जो है टू सेंसेस में है। जैसे कि ये एक की ग्रुप है इन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन चार्ज ऑफ इट्स अफेयर्स। इट इज़ अ की ग्रुप इन एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन चार्ज ऑफ इट्स अफेयर इन रिलेशन टू एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। मैनेजमेंट जो है एक चीफ ऑर्गन है entrusted with the task of making it a purposeful and productive entity. So management is a chief organ entrusted with the task of making it a purposeful and productive entity. By undertaking the task of bringing together, integrating the disorganized resources of manpower, money, material, technology, which are then combined into a functioning whole. So, it is a key group in an organization in charge of its affairs, and it is a chief organ entrusted with the task of making it a purposeful and productive entity. And by undertaking the task of bringing together, integrating the disorganized resource जैसे कि मैन पावर, मनी, मटेरियल, टेक्नोलॉजी, जो कंबाइन की जाती है इनटू अ फंक्शनिंग होल. सो it is a key group in an organization, charge of its aware. In relation to an organization, chief organ and management entrusted with the task of making it a purposeful and productive entity by bringing together, undertaking the task of bringing together, integrating the disorganized sources of manpower, money, material, and technology, and which are then combined together into a functioning whole. So, an organization becomes a unified functioning system when management systematically mobilizes and utilizes the diverse resources efficiently and effectively. The survival and success of an organization depends to a large extent on the competence and character of its management. Management has to facilitate organizational change and adaptation for effective interaction within the environment. अब टर्म मैनेजमेंट को हम एज अ सेट ऑफ इंटररिलेटेड फंक्शन और प्रोसेसेस की तरह भी देख सकते हैं. So, the term management is also used with reference to a set of interrelated functions and processes carried out by management of organization. वो functions क्या हो सकते हैं? Planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. That is POS DC. P for planning, O for organizing, S for staffing, D for directing, and C for controlling. So, the function of sub processes of management are wide ranging but closely interrelated. They range all way from the determination of goals, design of the organization, mobilization and acquisition of resources, allocation of tasks and resources among the personnel, and activity units and installation of control system to ensure that what is planned is achieved. So, design of the organization, determination of the goals, mobilization and acquisition of resources, allocation of tasks and resources among personnel, activity units, and installation of control system to ensure that what is planned is achieved. Now, management also एक influence process है to gain command over phenomena, induce direct events and people in a, induce and direct events and people in a particular manner to make things happen. So management is basically an influence process to make things happens, to gain command over phenomena, and to induce and direct events and people in a particular manner. Influence is backed by power, competence, knowledge, and resources. Influence is backed by power, competence, knowledge, and resources. So management is an influence process. Influence is backed by power, competence, knowledge, and resources. Influence is backed by power, competence, knowledge, and resources. Power, competence, knowledge, and resources. Managers formulate organizational goals, values, and strategy to cope with, to adapt, and to adjust themselves with the behavior and changes in the environment. So, managers formulate organizational goals, values, and strategies, adapt and adjust themselves with the behavior and changes in the environment. मैनेजर्स जो है फॉर्मुलेट करते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन गोल्स को, वैल्यूज को, स्ट्रेटजीज को टू कोप करने के लिए, एडजस्ट करने के लिए, अडेप्ट करने के लिए देमसेल्व्स को जो चेंजेस ऑफ बिहेवियर एनवायरनमेंट उनसे. अब स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट प्रोसेस है ना, सेट ऑफ एक्टिविटीज़ है जो फर्म के मैनेजर्स अंडरटेक करते हैं ताकि उनकी फर्म जो है बेस्ट पॉसिबल पोजीशन में आ जाए to compete successfully in the marketplace. So, the strategic management process is a set of activities that firms managers undertake to put their firms in the best possible position to compete successfully in the marketplace. अब वो सेवरल डिस्टिंक्ट एक्टिविटीज़ क्या हो सकती है जिससे स्ट्रैटेजिक मैनेजमेंट जो बना है, तो स्ट्रैटेजिक मैनेजमेंट इज मेड अप ऑफ सेवरल डिस्टिंक्ट एक्टिविटीज़ जैसे कि डेवलपिंग विजन एंड मिशन, स्ट्रैटेजिक एनालिसिस, डेवलपिंग ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, क्रिएटिंग, चूजिंग एंड इम्प्लीमेंटिंग स्ट्रैटेजीज, measuring and evaluating performance. So developing firm का vision and mission, then the strategic analysis, then developing objectives, then creating, choosing, and implementing strategies, measuring and evaluating performance. So, developing the firm's vision and mission, strategic analysis, develop करना objectives, फिर create, choose, implement करना strategy को, then measure, evaluate performance. Now, concept of strategy. Strategy relate to the ways the business decides to respond to dynamic and often hostile external forces while pursuing their vision, mission, ultimate objectives. तो strategy उससे relate करती है कि कैसे जो एक business है वो respond करना चाहता है to dynamic and external forces से pursue करते हुए vision, mission, and ultimate objectives. The very incorporation idea of the strategy into business organizations is to intended to unravel complexity and reduce uncertainty. तो सबसे पहला आइडिया जो है स्ट्रैटेजी का ये था अनरिवील करने के लिए कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी को, रिड्यूस करने के लिए अनसर्टेनिटी को जो कि कॉज्ड होते हैं बाय द चेंजेस इन द एनवायरनमेंट. तो un very incorporation idea of the strategy into business organization is intended to. So, a strategy to relate karta to the goals of the organization to the means of achieving them. Seeks to relate the goals of the organization to the means of achieving them. ये game plan है management of a business का for user जो management use करता है. Strategy is the game plan that the management of a business uses to take the market position, attract and satisfy customers, conduct its operation, compete successfully, and achieve organizational objectives. So, strategy is the game plan that the management of a business uses to take market position, conduct its operations, attract and satisfy customers, compete successfully, and achieve organizational objectives. To the extent that term strategy is associated with unified design and action for achieving major goals, gaining command over the situation with a long range perspective and securing a critical advantage position its application. Long a strategy एक long range blueprint of an organization desired image, direction and destination. D desired image, direction, destination. What it wants to be, what it wants to do, how it wants to do things, where it wants to go. ये एक यूनिफाइड डिजाइन एंड एक्शन है फॉर अचीविंग मेजर गोल्स, गेनिंग कमांड ओवर द सिचुएशन, लॉन्ग रेंज पर्सपेक्टिव, securing a critically advantageous position. Its implication for operate functioning are obvious. Long range blueprint of an organization, desired image, destination, and direction. What it wants to be, what it wants to do, how it wants to do things, where it wants to go. Long range blueprint of an organization, desired image, direction, destination. That is what it wants to be, what it wants to do, how it wants to do things, and where it wants to go. ये एक common thread है among the organization's activities and product market that define the essential nature of business that the organization has or plan to be in future. Unified, comprehensive, and integrated plan designed to assure that basic objectives of the enterprise are achieved. Strategy is consciously considered flexible design scheme of corporate intent and action. फ्लेक्सिबल डिज़ाइन स्कीम है कॉर्पोरेट इंटेंट और एक्शन का टू मोबिलाइज रिसोर्सेज, डायरेक्ट ह्यूमन एफर्ट एंड बिहेवियर, हैंडल इवेंट्स एंड प्रॉब्लम्स, perceive and utilize opportunities, and to meet challenges and threats for corporate survival and success. तो फ्लेक्सिबल डिज़ाइन स्कीम फॉर corporate intent and action, this is considered as flexible design scheme of corporate intent and action to mobilize resource, direct human effort and behavior, handle events and problems, perceive and utilize opportunities, meet challenges and threats for corporate survival and success. Strategy is consciously considered and flexible design scheme of corporate interaction to mobilize resources, direct human effort and behavior to handle events and problems, perceive and utilize opportunities, meet challenges and threats for corporate survival and success. Fill in the need of the organizations for a sense of dynamic direction, focus, and cohesiveness. Strategy is meant to fill in the need of organizations for a sense of dynamic direction, focus, and cohesiveness. Objectives and goals are essential to give a direction to business, but they do not fulfill in the need alone. Strategy provides an integrated framework for the top management to search for, evaluate, and explore beneficial opportunities, to perceive and meet potential threats and crises, to make full use of resources and strengths, to offset corporate weaknesses. Important to note that strategy is no substitute for sound, alert, and responsible management. It must be recognized that strategy can be never be perfect, flawless, and optimal. It is the very nature of strategy that is flexible and pragmatic to take care of certain emergencies, pressures, avoid failures, frustrations. Sound strategy allowances are made for miscalculations and unanticipated events. लार्ज ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में स्ट्रेटजी जो है 3 लेवल पे फॉर्मुलेट की जाती है. कॉर्पोरेट डिविजनल फंक्शनल. कॉर्पोरेट डिविजनल फंक्शनल. कॉर्पोरेट डिविजनल एंड फंक्शनल. 3 levels: corporate, divisional and functional. Corporate strategies जो है corporate strategies formulated by top managers. Such strategies included the determination of the plans for expansion and growth, vertical, horizontal integration, diversification, takeovers, mergers, new investment, divestment areas, R&D projects, so on. These corporate wide strategies need to be operationalized by divisional and functional strategies regarding products line, production volumes, quality range, prices, product promotion, market penetration, purchasing sources, personal development like. अब स्ट्रैटेजी जो है पार्टली प्रोएक्टिव होती है और पार्टली रिएक्टिव होती है. तो स्ट्रेटजी इज पार्टली प्रोएक्टिव एंड पार्टली रिएक्टिव. प्रोएक्टिव होती है जो ऑन द पार्ट ऑफ मैनेजर्स टू इम्प्रूव द कंपनी के मार्केट पोजीशन और फाइनेंशियल परफॉर्मेंस. और रिएक्टिव इज द रिएक्शन टू द अनएंटिसिपेटेड डेवलपमेंट्स and fresh market conditions in the dynamic business environment. Proactive actions on the part of the managers is to improve the company's performance, market position, and financial performance. So, proactive actions on the part of the managers is to improve the company ka market position and financial performance, and reactions to unanticipated development and fresh market conditions in the dynamic business environment is reactive. In other words, a company uses both proactive and reactive strategies to cope up with the uncertain business environment. Proactive strategy is planned strategy, whereas reactive strategy is adaptive reaction to changing circumstances. कंपनी जो है दोनों प्रोएक्टिव एंड रिएक्टिव स्ट्रेटजीज को यूज़ करती है कोप अप करने के लिए अनसर्टेन बिजनेस एनवायरनमेंट. और प्रोएक्टिव एक प्लान स्ट्रेटजी है. प्रोएक्टिव इज प्लान and reactive is unanticipated, sorry, adaptive reaction to changing circumstances. Adaptive reaction to changing circumstances. Now this is a company's exit strategy is partly planned and partly reactive. तो कंपनी के experiences, know-how, resources, strength and weaknesses, and competition capabilities, abundant strategy elements, then proactive strategy elements with new initiatives plus ongoing strategy elements continued from prior period, and adaptive reaction to changing latest version of a company strategy, actual strategy. As is evident from the figure, एक company की current strategy जो है flow करती है from both previously initiated actions and business approaches that are working well enough to merit continuation, as well as newly initiated managerial actions that strengthen the company's overall position and performance. तो a company का current strategy flow from both from previously initiated uh, actions and business approaches that are working well enough to merit continuations, as well as newly initiated managerial decisions and actions that strengthen the company's overall position and performance. So, a company's strategy flow from both previously initiated actions and business approaches that are working well enough to merit continuation, as well as newly initiated managerial decisions and actions that strengthen the company's overall position and performance. Thus, strategy is partly deliberate and proactive, standing as the product of management's analysis and strategic thinking about the company's situation and its conclusion about how to position the company in the marketplace and tackle the. However, not every strategic move is the result of proactive planning and deliberate management designs. Though things happen that cannot be fully anticipated और प्लान फॉर, तो हर स्ट्रैटेजिक मूव जो है रिजल्ट नहीं होता है प्रोएक्टिव प्लानिंग और डेलिब्रेट मैनेजमेंट डिसीजन का। ऐसी चीज़ें होती है जो फुल्ली एंटिसिपेट या प्लान नहीं कर सकते। So, when market and competitive conditions, a unexpected turn, or some aspect of a company's strategy hits a stone wall, some kind of strategic reaction or adjustment is required. So, however, not every strategic move is the result of proactive planning and deliberate management design. Things happen that cannot be fully anticipated or planned for when market or competitive condition take an expected term or some aspect of company's strategy hits a stone or some kind of strategy. Hence, partially a company's strategy is always developed as a reasoned response to unforeseen developments. Crafting a strategy thus involves stitching together a proactive intended strategy based on prior successful experience and then adapting pieces of successful reactions as circumstances surrounding the company's situation change or better options emerge or reactive adaptive strategy. स्ट्रैटेजी हेल्प करता है अनरेवल करने में कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी एंड रिड्यूस करने में अनसर्टेनिटी जो कि चेंजेस इन द एनवायरनमेंट की वजह से होते हैं इसका मींस आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए एग्जिस्टिंग प्रॉब्लम्स और उनको सॉल्व करने के लिए बाय एग्जीक्यूटिंग रिवॉल्यूशनरी आइडियाज फॉर एग्जांपल यूपीआई The importance of strategic management essentially lies in enabling an organization to perform better than its competitors and its own past and present performance. Now, ओवरऑल ऑब्जेक्टिव दो ओवरऑल ऑब्जेक्टिव जो स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट का है वो टू फोल्ड होता है। एक तो क्रिएट करना कॉम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज जो कि समथिंग यूनिक एंड वैल्यूड बाय द कस्टमर सो दैट कंपनी जो है आउट परफॉर्म कर सके अपने कॉम्पिटिटर्स को सारे एक्सपेक्ट्स में ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन परफॉर्मेंस। दूसरा गाइड करना कंपनी को सक्सेसफुली थ्रू ऑल द चेंजेस इन द एनवायरनमेंट that is to react in the right manner. So to create competitive advantage, something unique and valued by the customer, so that the company can outperform its competitors in all aspects of an organization performance, and to guide company successfully through all the changes in the environment, that is to react in the right manner. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के ऑपरेशन से जो हाईली इन्फ्लुएंस्ड होते हैं बाय इंक्रीजिंग रेट ऑफ चेंज इन द एनवायरनमेंट एंड द रिपल इफेक्ट क्रिएटेड ऑन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चेंजेस कैन बी external to the firm, or they may be introduced in the firm by the managers. It may manifest in the blurring of industry and firm boundaries driven by technology deregulation through create crafting, implementing, executing company की strategy जो heart and soul होता है for managing business enterprise. Managing a business, to put the concept in few words, the term strategic management refers to developing a strategic managerial process. Strategic management जो है एक managerial process है, develop करने का strategic vision को, objectives को set करने का, craft करने का एक strategy को, implement and evaluate करने का strategy को, and finally initiating corrective adjustment that were deemed appropriate. The strategic management is the managerial process of developing a strategic vision, setting objectives, crafting a strategy, implementing and evaluating a strategy, and finally initiating corrective adjustment that were deemed appropriate. ये process कभी end नहीं होता, it keeps going on in a cyclic manner. स्ट्रैटेजिक मैनेजमेंट जो है इन्वॉल्व करता है डेवलप करना कंपनी का विजन, environmental scanning both external and internal, strategy का formulation, strategy implementation, evaluation and control. So strategic management involves developing the company's vision, environmental scanning, both internal and external, strategy का formulation, implementation, evaluation and control. Originally called business policy, strategic management emphasizes the monitoring and evaluation of external opportunities and threat in the light of company's strength and weaknesses, designs what. Now, importance of SM. Formulation of strategies and their implementation have become essential for all organizations for survival and growth in the present turbulent business. Survival of the fittest is propagation. Hmm. नाउ मेजर बेनिफिट्स ऑफ एसएम. एसएम जो है डायरेक्शन देता है कंपनी को टू मूव अहेड, डिफाइन करता है गोल्स एंड मिशन को, हेल्प करता है मैनेजमेंट को डिफाइन करने में रियलिस्टिक ऑब्जेक्टिव्स एंड गोल्स विच आर इन लाइन विद द विजन ऑफ द कंपनी. सो स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट गिव्स अ डायरेक्शन टू द कंपनी टू मूव अहेड. इट डिफाइंस इट्स गोल्स एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, सॉरी गोल्स एंड मिशंस, हेल्प करता है मैनेजमेंट को, हेल्प करता है डिफाइन करने में realistic objectives and goals जो कि in line है with the vision of the company. So strategic management gives a direction to the company to move ahead. It defines goals and mission. Then it helps management to define realistic goals and objectives which are in line with the vision of the company. ये स्ट्रैटेजिक मैनेजमेंट जो है हेल्प करता है एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को टू बी प्रोएक्टिव इंस्टेड ऑफ रिएक्टिव इन शेपिंग इट्स फ्यूचर. तो फिर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जो है एबल होती है टू एनालाइज एंड टेक एक्शंस इंस्टेड ऑफ बीइंग मियर स्पेक्टेटर्स. वो अपनी डेस्टिनी को एक बेटर मैनर में कंट्रोल कर सकती है. ये हेल्प करती है उनको वर्किंग विद द वेजरीज ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट एंड शेपिंग इट इंस्टेड ऑफ गेटिंग कैरिड अवे बाय इट्स टर्बुलेंस और अनसर्टेनिटी. So, strategic management helps organizations to be proactive instead of reactive. Organizations are able to analyze and take actions, able to analyze and take actions instead of being mere spectators. They are able to control their destiny in a better manner. Helps them in working with vagaries of environment and shaping it instead of getting carried away by its turbulence on or uncertainty. स्ट्रैटेजिक मैनेजमेंट जो है प्रोवाइड करती है फ्रेमवर्क फॉर ऑल मेजर डिसीजंस ऑफ एन ऑर्गन एंटरप्राइज। तो डिसीजन क्या हो सकते हैं बिजनेस पे, सच एज डिसीजन सॉरी स्ट्रैटेजिक मैनेजमेंट जो है प्रोवाइड करती है फ्रेमवर्क फॉर ऑल मेजर डिसीजंस ऑफ एन एंटरप्राइज। डिसीजन सच एज डिसीजंस ऑन businesses, products, markets, manufacturing facilities, investment and organizational structure। ये प्रोवाइड करती है बेटर गाइडेंस टू एंटायर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, crucial point what it is trying to achieve. So it provides framework for all major decisions of an enterprise, such as decisions on businesses, products, markets, manufacturing facilities, investment and organizational structure. It provides better guidance to entire organization on the crucial point what is trying to achieve. अब एसएम जो है सीक्स टू प्रिपेयर दी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टू फेस द फ्यूचर। प्रिपेयर करती है एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को कि वो अपने फ्यूचर को फेस कर सके, एंड एक्ट करती है एज पाथ फाइंडर टू वेरियस बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटीज। सो स्ट्रेटेजिक मैनेजमेंट सीक्स टू प्रिपेयर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन टू फेस द फ्यूचर, seeks to prepare the organization to face the future and act as pathfinder to various business opportunities. Organizations are able to identify the available opportunities and identify ways and means to reach them. SM जो सर्व करती है as corporate defense mechanism against mistakes and pitfalls. SM serves as a corporate defense mechanism against mistakes and pitfalls. It helps organizations to avoid costly mistakes in product, market choices or investments. तो strategic management जो है serve करती है as a corporate defense mechanism against mistakes and pitfalls. It helps organization to avoid costly mistakes in product, market choices or investments. तो strategic management जो है serve करती है as a corporate defense mechanism against mistakes and pitfalls. It helps organization to avoid costly mistakes in product, market choices or investment. Enhance करती है longevity of the business, helps to enhance longevity of the business. With the state of competition and dynamic environment, it may be challenging for organization to survive in the long run. It helps the organization to take a clear stand in the related and make sure that it's not surviving a lug. Actions over expectations is what strategic management ensures. स्ट्रैटेजिक मैनेजमेंट हेल्प करती है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को डेवलप करने में सर्टेन कोर कॉम्पिटेंसीज एंड कॉम्पिटेंट जो फैसिलिटेट करेंगे सर्वाइव असिस्ट इन इट्स फाइट फॉर सर्वाइवल एंड ग्रोथ। तो ये इंपॉर्टेंस है डिफाइन करना गोल्स एंड मिशंस, लॉन्गेजिविटी, कॉर्पोरेट डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म अगेंस्ट मिस्टेक्स एंड पिटफॉल्स, डेवलप्स core competence and competitive advantage, proactive instead of reactive in shaping its future, provide करती है framework for all major decisions, prepares the organization to face the future and act as pathfinder. Uh, limitations of SM highly complex and turbulent environment है, इस वजह से difficult है exactly pinpoint करना future को, या फिर difficult in estimating responses, time consuming, costly. Environment is highly complex and turbulent. It is difficult to understand the complex environment and exactly pinpoint how it will shape up in future. The organizational estimate about its future shape may or fully go wrong and jeopardize all strategic plans. जो organizational estimate है about its future वो गलत भी हो सकता है, jeopardize कर सकता है all strategic plans को. Complex environment को समझना difficult है and exactly pinpoint करना how it will shape in future. Environment जो है affect करता है, the environment affects as the organization has to deal with suppliers, customers, government. Thus, relying on a business strategy blindly could go absolutely wrong if the environment is turbulent. For example, two-wheeler electric vehicles brands counted on the strategic benefits that customers are getting reluctant to purchase it to when accident. So, strategy cannot overcome a turbulent environment. ये एक टाइम कंज्यूमिंग प्रोसेस है. Organizations spend a lot of time in preparing, communicating the strategies that may impede daily operations and negatively impact uh, the routine business. Planning and strategizing are important, but putting them into action is where the actual success lies. A costly process. A strategic management adds a lot of expenses to an organization. Expert strategic planners need to be engaged. Efforts are made for analysis of external and internal environments, devise strategies and properly implement. These can be really costly for organization with limited resources, particularly when small and medium organizations create strategies to compete. In companies where organizations are trying to move strategically, it is difficult to clearly estimate the competitive responses to a firm's strategy. It is quite difficult to gauge the strategic planning of competitors because most of these decisions are taken within the closed doors by the top management. Complex and turbulent environment, time consuming, costly process, difficult to estimate competitors' response. What is strategic intent? Strategic intent comprises vision, mission, goals, objectives, and values. Strategic intent refers to purposes of what the organization for. Senior managers must define. मतलब strategic management refer करता है purpose of what the organization strive for, and senior managers must define what they want to do and why they want to do. क्यों करना चाहते हैं, क्या करना चाहते हैं और क्यों करना चाहते हैं. ओके. Why they want to do and what they want to do. स्ट्रेटेजिक इंटेंट जो है रेफर किया जाता है टू पर्पस ऑफ व्हाट द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन strives for. Strategic management refers to the purpose of what the organization strives for. Senior managers must define what they do, what they want to do, and why they want to do. What they want to do and why they want to do. Strategic intent refers to purposes of what the organization strive for. Senior managers must define what they want to do and why they want to do. What they want to do and why they want to do. Why they want to do represent strategic intent of the firm. Clarity in strategic intent is extremely important for the future success and growth of the enterprise, irrespective of its nature and size. Strategic intent can be understood as the philosophical base of strategic management. Philosophical base of strategic management. Philosophical base of strategic management. Strategic intent can be understood as the philosophical base of strategic management. Philosophical base of strategic management. Strategic intent can be understood as the philosophical base of strategic management. It implies the purposes which an organization endeavors to achieve. It implies the purpose which an organization endeavors to can be understood as the philosophical base of the strategic management. imply करता है purpose जो organization endeavor to achieve. ये statement है जो provide करता है perspective of the means which lead the organization reach its mission and vision in the long run. So, strategic intent can be understood as the philosophical base of strategy. Implies the purpose which an organization endeavors to achieve. It is a statement that provides a perspective of the means. It is a statement that provides the perspective of the means. It is a statement that provides a perspective of the means which will lead the organization reach its vision in the long run, which will lead the organization reach its vision in the long run. It is a statement that provides a perspective of the means which will lead the organization reach its vision in the long run. Strategic intent जो है एक आइडिया देता है what the organization desires to attain in future. It answers the question what the organization strives or stands for. It answers the question what the organization strives or stands for. It answers the question what the organization strives or stands for. It indicates the long term market position which the organization desires to create or framework provide करता है within which the firm would adopt a predetermined direction and would operate to achieve strategic objectives. Strategic intent could be in the form of vision, mission statements for the organization at the corporate level. Vision, mission, goals, objectives, values. Okay. विजन जो है एक लॉन्ग रेंज ब्लूप्रिंट ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो डिस्क्राइब करता है वेयर इट वांट्स टू लैंड, वेयर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वांट्स टू लैंड. इट इज़ द ब्लूप्रिंट ऑफ द कंपनी. ब्लूप्रिंट है कंपनी के फ्यूचर पोजीशन का. डिस्क्राइब करता है वेयर द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वांट्स टू लैंड. डिपिक्ट करता है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की एस्पिरेशंस एंड प्रोवाइड करता है ग्लिम्स ऑफ व्हाट द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वुड लाइक टू बिकम इन फ्यूचर. एवरी सब सिस्टम ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. Blueprint of company's future position, describe where the organization wants to land, depict organization ka aspiration, and provide a glimpse of what the organization would like to become in future. Every subsystem of the organization is required to follow its vision. मिशन जो है डेलिनेट करता है फर्म के बिजनेस, उसके गोल्स एंड वेज टू रीच दी गोल्स. मिशन delineates the firm's business, its goals, and ways to reach the goal. Delineate करता है firm का business, its goals and ways to reach the goals. Explain करता है reason for the existence of the firm in the society, designed to help potential shareholders and investors understand the purpose of the firm. Help करता है and what business firm undertakes the present capabilities activities. These are the base of measurements. Goal end results है that the organization attempts to achieve. Goals are the end results that the organization attempts to achieve. Objectives जो है time based measurable targets होते हैं जो help करते हैं accomplishment of goals में. These are the end results to attain with the help of overall plan over the particular. वैल्यूज जो है डीप रूटेड प्रिंसिपल्स है विच गाइड करते हैं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के डिसीजंस एंड एक्शंस में. Now, vision. प्रोवाइड करता है पैनोरामिक व्यू ऑफ वेयर वी आर टू गो। तो एक कंपनी की सीनियर मैनेजमेंट जो है कंसिडर करेंगी इशू ऑफ व्हाट डायरेक्शनल पाथ द कंपनी शुड टेक, एंड कौन से चेंजेस जो है कंपनी के प्रोडक्ट मार्केट कस्टमर टेक्नोलॉजी फोकस जो इम्प्रूव करेंगे कंपनी की करंट मार्केट पोजीशन को और फ्यूचर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स को। A company senior manager must consider the issue of what directional path the company should take and what changes in the company's product market technology would improve its current market position and future prospects. Top management's views about the company's direction, product, market, customer, technology focus on strategic vision जो है delineate करता है management के aspirations for the business, providing a panoramic view of where we are to go and a convincing rationale for uh, why this makes good business sense for the company. So management का aspiration for the business जो provide करेगा panoramic view of where we are to go and convincing rationally for why this makes a good business sense for the company. Strategic point करता है particular direction को, chart करता है एक strategic part to be followed in future and molding its organizational identity. So point outs a particular direction, charts a strategic path to be followed in future, charts a strategic path to be followed in future, molding organizational identity. So strategic vision जो है delineate करता है management के aspiration for the business, providing a panoramic view of where we are to go and a convincing rationally for why this makes a good business sense for the company. Strategic vision जो है point out करेगा particular direction को, chart करेगा a strategic path to be followed in future and molding its organizational identity. अब एक क्लियरली आर्टिकुलेट स्ट्रेटेजी विजन है जो कम्युनिकेट करता है मैनेजमेंट के एस्पिरेशन को स्टेक होल्डर्स को और हेल्प करता है स्टीयरिंग इन स्टीयर द एनर्जीज ऑफ कंपनी पर्सनल इन अ कॉमन डायरेक्शन. A clearly articulated strategic vision communicates management aspirations to stakeholders. A clearly articulated strategic vision, a clearly articulated strategic vision communicates management's aspiration to stakeholders and helps steers the energies of a company personnel in a common direction. Uh, so examples are HDFC Bank, LIC, and Apple. Apple to be face of the earth. Apple to believe that we are on the face of the earth to make great products, and that's not changing. Apple का vision है that we are believe that we are on the face of the earth to make great products, and that's not changing. LIC का largest insurance company of India has defined its vision as transnationally competitive financial conglomerate of significance to societies and pride of India. Largest insurance company है LIC का vision है transnationally competitive financial conglomerate of significance to societies and pride or world class Indian bank. Keep in where we want to go and the central thought of their strategic decision. Now, essentials क्या है strategic vision के लिए? Creative thinking about how to prepare a company for the future, exercise करना intelligent entrepreneurship, create करना enthusiasm among the members of the organization, best worded vision statement जो animate करेगा direction in which the organization is headed. तो entrepreneurial challenge in developing a strategic vision is to think creatively about how to prepare a company for the future. ठीक है. The entrepreneurial challenge in developing a strategic vision is to think creatively about how to prepare a company for the future. तो entrepreneurial challenge है कि develop करना strategic vision, एक strategic vision को develop करने पे entrepreneurial challenge ये है कि creatively think करना about how to prepare a company for the future. So, the entrepreneurial challenge in developing a strategic business to think creatively about how to uh, prepare a company for the future. Forming a strategic vision is an exercise in intelligent entrepreneurship. Forming a strategic vision is an exercise in intelligent entrepreneurship. A well articulated strategic vision जो है create करेगा enthusiasm among the members of the organization, or best worded clearly and with direction which the organization. तो essentials entrepreneurship developing is to think creatively how to exercise enthusiasm among best worded. Now mission जो है आंसर करता है what business are we in and what we do. हम कौन से बिजनेस में हैं और हम क्या करते हैं. What business are we in and what we do. A mission is an answer to the basic question. A mission is an answer to the basic question. What business are we in and what we do? A mission is an answer to the basic question. What business are we in and what we do? A mission is an answer to the basic question. What business are we in and what we do? मिशन जो है आंसर है बेसिक दो क्वेश्चन को आंसर देता है. व्हाट बिजनेस आर वी इन, व्हाट business are we in and what we do. What business are we in, what we do. अब एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के पास मिशन क्यों होना चाहिए. वाई शुड एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैव अ मिशन. ये इंश्योर करता है यूनामिटी ऑफ पर्पस विद इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, डेवलप करता है बेसिस और स्टैंडर्ड फॉर अलोकेटिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रिसोर्सेज, प्रोवाइड करता है बेसिस फॉर मोटिवेटिंग द use of the organization resources, establish करता है general tone or organizational climate to suggest a business like operation. So it ensure unity of the purpose within the organization, develop a basis or standard for allocating, provide a motivating the use of establish a general serve करता है focal point for those who can identify with the organization purpose and direction. To serve as a focal point for those who can identify with the organization purpose and direction. Serve as a focal point for those who can identify with the organization's purpose and direction. Facilitate करता है translation of objectives and goals into a work structure. It facilitate the translation of objectives and goals into a work structure involving the assignment of tasks to responsible elements within the organization. Facilitate करता है translation of objective and goals into a work structure. It facilitates the translation objectives of goals का work structure में also involve करता है assignment of tasks to responsible elements within the organization. हेल्प कर स्पेसिफाई करता है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का पर्पस. ट्रांसलेशन उन पर्पस का गोल्स में इन सच अ वे दैट कॉस्ट टाइम परफॉर्मेंस पैरामीटर्स कैन बी असेस्ड एंड कंट्रोल. तो इंश्योर करता है यूनिटी ऑफ पर्पस विद इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, डेवलप करता है बेसिस स्टैंडर्ड फॉर लोकेटिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रिसोर्सेज, प्रोवाइड अ बेसिस फॉर मोटिवेटिंग द यूज ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रिसोर्सेज, जनरल टोल या ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल क्लाइमेट इस्टेब्लिश करता है टू सजेस्ट अ बिजनेस लाइक ऑपरेशन, सर्व करता है फोकल पॉइंट फॉर दोज हु कैन आइडेंटिफाई विद द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पर्पस एंड डायरेक्शन, ट्रांसलेट करता है Objectives and goals go into work structure and involve करता assignment of tasks to responsible elements within the organization. Specify करता organization का purpose and translation of these purpose into goals. Specify करता organization का purpose and the translation of these purpose into goals in such a way that cost, time, performance parameters can be assessed and controlled. Come, HDFC का mission है to be preferred provider of banking services for target retail and wholesale customers. Second, achieve healthy growth in profitability consider ठीक है. Ensure and enhance करना quality of life of people to financial security by providing products with attributes. Best user experience to its customer through innovative art. Good mission statement precise होना चाहिए, clear होना चाहिए, feasible होना चाहिए, distinctive होना चाहिए, motivating होना चाहिए. Following point को हमें ध्यान रखना है while writing a mission of a company. गुड मिशन स्टेटमेंट जो यूनिक होते हैं, गुड मिशन स्टेटमेंट्स आर यूनिक टू द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, यूनिक टू द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन फॉर विच दे आर डेवलप्ड. अ कंपनी का बिजनेस इज डिफाइंड बाय व्हाट नीड इट्स ट्राइंग टू सेटिस्फाई, which customer groups it is targeting, and the technology and competencies it uses, and the activities it performs. So one a company a company's business is defined by what needs it is trying to satisfy, which customer groups it is targeting, and the technologies and competencies it uses, and the activities it performs. One of the roles of a statement is to give the organization its own special identity. Organization को own special अपनी खुद की special identity देना, business emphasize path for development. What is our mission and what business are we in? The well-known management step planning on one. Every business firm must clarify the corporate mission, define activity business firm is engaged in. They also explain the certain basic questions. What is our mission? What is our ultimate purpose? हमारा mission क्या है, हमारा ultimate purpose क्या है, what we want to become, what kind of growth do we seek, what business are we in, whom do we intend to serve, what human need do we intend to serve through our offer, what brings us this to this particular business, do we understand our business correctly and define it accurately in its broadest connotation, what would be our the nature of this business in future. Nature of business in future, हमारा mission, what is our ultimate purpose, what do we want to become, what kind of growth do we seek, what business are we in, do we understand our business correctly and define it greatly in its broadest human need intent to serve. In what business would we like to be in the future. Hmm. Goals and objectives. Business organization translate their vision and mission into goals and objectives. As such, the term objectives are synonymous with goals. However, some authors make an attempt to distinguish the two. The term objectives are synonymous. गोल्स जो है ओपन एंडेड होते हैं, ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्लोज एंडेड एट्रीब्यूट्स होते हैं जो कि प्रिसाइज और स्पेसिफिक होते हैं. तो गोल और गोल ओपन एंडेड एट्रीब्यूट्स है जो डिनोट करते हैं फ्यूचर स्टेट और आउटकम को. गोल्स आर ओपन एंडेड डिनोट फ्यूचर स्टेट्स और एट्रीब्यूट्स. सॉरी. Goals are open-ended attributes that denote future state or outcomes, and objectives are close-ended, which are precise and expressed in specific terms. Objectives जो है ज़्यादा specific होते हैं. Objectives are more specific and translate the goals to both long-term and short-term perspective. Objectives more specific होते हैं, translate करते हैं goals को both long-term and short-term perspective. Distinction is not. Objective जो है organization's performance target, results and outcomes, yardsticks for tracking organization performance and progress. Objectives are organization's performance targets, that is the result and outcomes it wants to achieve. ये function करता है as yardstick for tracking an organization के performance and progress. Performance target है, result and outcome it wants to achieve, yardstick की तरह for tracking an organization performance. HDFC can multiple. All organizations have objectives. Unending process as such that organizations sustain themselves. They provide meaning and sense of direction to organization endeavor. So objectives to be meaningful, following characteristics. Objectives जो है define करना चाहिए organization का relationship with its environment, achievement of mission and purpose, provide करना चाहिए basis for strategic decision making, provide standards for performance appraisal, concrete and specific होना चाहिए, related होना चाहिए to time frame, measurable and controllable होना चाहिए, challenging होना चाहिए. Different objectives should correlate with each other. तो define करना चाहिए. Organization का relationship with environment, basis for strategic decision making, provide standards for performance appraisal, concrete and specific, related time frame, measurable and controllable, challenging towards achievement of mission and purpose. Different objectives correlate करने चाहिए एक दूसरे से. Objectives should be set within the constraint of organization resources and external environment. Objectives should be set within the constraints of organization resources and external environment. A need for both short-term and long-term objectives. As a rule, a company set a financial short-term and long-term. 3 to 5 years. A company objective of doubling its sales within long-term prosperity strategic problems. 7 areas में productivity, profitability, competitive position, employer development, employer relationship, technological leadership, and public responsibility. Productivity, profitability, competitive position, employee development, employee relation, technological leadership, public response. Time frame 2 to 5 year. क्लियरली एस्टैब्लिश ऑब्जेक्टिव्स जो है ऑफर करता है बहुत सारे बेनिफिट, जैसे कि प्रोवाइड करता है डायरेक्शन, अलाउ करता है सिनर्जी, एड इन इवोल्यूशन, एस्टैब्लिश प्रायोरिटीज, रिड्यूस अनसर्टेनिटी, मिनिमाइज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, स्टैमुलेट exertion, and aid in both the allocation of resources and the design of jobs. वैल्यूज जैसे कि इंटीग्रिटी, ट्रस्ट, अकाउंटेबिलिटी, ह्यूमिडिटी, इनोवेशन, डाइवर्सिटी। वैल्यूज क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है? क्योंकि ये सेट करता है फॉर हाउ द पीपल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कम people of the organization think and behave, especially in situations of dilemma. It creates a sense of shared purpose to build a strong foundation and focus on longevity of the company's success. Employer prefer to work with employers whose values resonate with them, the one they can relate to their daily work and personal life. Interestingly, majority of consumers say that they would prefer to buy products and services from companies that have a purpose that reflects their own value and belief system. Now, strategic levels in an organization. A typical large organization is multi-divisional organization that competes in several different businesses. It has separate self-contained divisions. For example, Patanjali is healthcare, FMCG, organic foods, medicinal oils and herbs, various different businesses. It has separate division with which work within themselves such sustain each of these businesses. Generally, there are three main levels of management: corporate level, business level, functional level. कॉर्पोरेट लेवल में सीईओ, सीनियर एग्जीक्यूटिव्स, बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स, कॉर्पोरेट स्टाफ। तो सीईओ, अदर सीनियर एग्जीक्यूटिव्स, बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स, सीओई, बीओडी, कॉर्पोरेट स्टाफ एंड अदर सीनियर एग्जीक्यूटिव्स। बिजनेस लेवल में डिविजनल मैनेजर्स एंड स्टाफ, और फंक्शनल लेवल में फंक्शनल मैनेजर्स, मार्केटिंग, फाइनेंस एक्सेट्रा। ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो है डिवाइडेड इनटू नंबर ऑफ सेगमेंट्स टू वर्क करते हैं टुगेदर टू ब्रिंग अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट और सर्विस टू द मार्केट. इफ अ कंपनी प्रोवाइड्स सेवरल different kinds of product, it often duplicates the functions and create a series of self-contained divisions. The general manager is responsible for particular product line overriding. Up overriding concern of the divisional managers is healthy growth of their divisions. They are responsible for deciding how to create a competitive advantage and achieve higher profitability with the resources and capital. Such divisions are called strategic ways. Corporate level managers में management में CEO आते हैं, board of director, other senior executive, corporate staff. ये individuals है जो participate करते हैं strategic decision making में within the organization. इनका रोल है ओवरसी करना डेवलपमेंट ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजीज फॉर द होल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं इन स्ट्रैटेजिक डिसीजन मेकिंग विद इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. इंडिविजुअल्स दैट पार्टिसिपेट इन स्ट्रैटेजिक डिसीजन मेकिंग विद इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. इनका रोल ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट मैनेजर है टू ओवरसी द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजीज फॉर द होल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. In this role includes defining the mission and goals of the organization, uh, determining what businesses should be in, allocating resources among the different businesses, formulating.